Christian Hernandez here for Sports Video Group. We're at Aronomink Golf Club in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania for the 2026 PGA Championship. Very pleased to be joined by Jason Cohen of CBS Sports and Håkon Espeland of Muybridge. Guys, thank you for taking the time. I really much appreciate it. We are on the 13th hole of the course. We're talking about the cool array. What's the official name of it? I'll let you say the official name of it since it's your product, Håkon, so go ahead.
Yes, so the official name is Horizon. That's the product name.
Awesome.
And it allows us to show new, engaging, and immersive angles that the world has never seen before.
Perfect. Yes, we saw those angles at Doral a couple of weeks ago. We'll go into the technology in a bit, but Jason, we'll start with you. The reason for going with this technology, I'm sure, the new shots that people are seeing is one of those things, and not having a lot of sound in order to distract the players. But what was the reasoning behind CBS going with this?
Well, look, right, every year you don't know what the year's going to bring you as far as finding new technologies, companies to partner with, cool creations around the world. And so this year, we stumbled upon our new friends at Muybridge, and they were sitting on a product that is just starting to make its way into the television industry. And we jumped on top of the opportunity to really kind of get our hands on it, understand what it could do and how it could benefit us.
Right.
And look, we're very, very proud, I think, to be the first ever broadcaster to introduce the circular array. And when we looked at it, sometimes we don't know what we want, until we see it.
Sure.
And when we started to understand what does this technology allow us to do, then we started to think about, okay, this is interesting. How can we apply this to, certainly for starters, the sport of golf?
Right.
And what would it look like at a major event like the PGA Championship? And then we started to kind of work backwards from there.
Sure, for sure. And then, Håkon, from your perspective, I guess the first question is the technology that's actually behind it, because it's a unique array of mini cameras that you kind of stitch everything together. But I would let you answer that question. And then, how did you link up with Jason and CBS Sports and present the product to them?
Yeah, so starting with the technology, we initially came from broadcast robotics. And we started asking ourselves, do you really need 600 pounds to move a camera? That's how it all started. And it's a little bit like kind of our human eyes. We have two eyes, but we experience the world as one image.
Right.
That's what we do in software. That allows us to get much closer to the action and not interrupt the athletes, because there's no physical thing moving. We're moving purely in software. Coming from broadcast, we have quite the network, and we were looking for someone who was bold enough to push new ideas. And that's where we got introduced to Jason and CBS Sports, and it's just been amazing for the last couple of weeks with the world premiere of our first circular array.
Right. And I guess I'll ask you this question before finishing with Jason, but just the challenges of making sure that everything's working. You're obviously in the elements, and rain could be a possibility, and every course is different. So when it was in Doral and now here in Aronomink, I guess logistics that go behind it, making sure it's all working and making sure it's up to par, quote unquote, for this golf event.
Yeah. So our technology, it's quite modular, and with the newest generation now, it's weatherproofed.
Right.
But that's also the benefit of working with someone like CBS Sports, because they've done it before in a lot of different arenas. So with the help and support from them, we've made it even more flexible and kind of being prepared for the challenges ahead. But of course, it's been intense. We learned a lot, and we're ready to make it even better.
Awesome. Jason, we'll finish up with you. We mentioned enough that it debuted at Doral a couple of weekends ago. Can you reflect on that debut and I guess how it'll be used for this upcoming tournament?
Look, it's a very sophisticated technology, right? It looks simple when you see it on air, but when you start to understand what Muybridge is trying to accomplish, there's a lot of science behind it. I mean, you're talking about, almost 500 cameras in the back array, almost 200 cameras in the front array, all having to be seamlessly stitched together and create a singular movement to make it look like a smooth shot, no matter which angle you're using it from. And so I think one of the things that Muybridge understood, was important to us was we couldn't bring a technology out to a major event like PGA Championship without really doing some testing, some R&D, and some understanding as to what it could actually do and what some of the challenges might be. And so, they've been unbelievable partners. They understood what was important to us. They did some testing back at their warehouse of a golfer back in their shop to even prove what it would look like with golf. And then they understood that it meant coming to an event like Doral to showcase the technology and show us and the front bench, producer and director, how does this actually work? What are going to be some of the challenges? What are the things we need to know about it? And so, that was like our R&D week, but it was so successful and it looked so good that obviously we took it to air, and we found a lot of success for it within the broadcast. And we knew immediately, as soon as it was set up and it was starting to work earlier in the week in Miami, we knew we were sitting on something that was easily going to translate to PGA Championship. And so Doral gave us an unbelievable testing opportunity, but also an on-air execution. And then here we are at PGA Championship, really excited to see it be used for the 4 days of coverage.
Yeah. You guys are always looking for ways to up your coverage, upgrade the technologies, and this is no different. Very much excited to see what's in store. Jason, thank you for the time.
Thank you so much for coming out.
Of course, Håkon, thank you for the time as well.
Thank you.
Håkon Espeland and Jason Cohen here at the PGA Championship at Aronomink Golf Club in Newtown Square, Pennsylvania. For more interviews like this one and more coverage from the event, please head over to sportsvideo.org.